Hello, everybody. My name is Matt Hartman, and I just wanted to present my attitude change plan. So, the attitude I am looking to change is increasing student desire to re-engage with coursework following recess/playtime. I want to remove the negative association with classwork that comes with the positive association with recess. So my specific target audience is kindergartners, and they're around 5 to 6 years old. But honestly, I think this attitude may apply to any elementary school student who may have recess or playtime. So the reason that I think my students struggle to re-engage with coursework after playtime could be for many reasons, and here are some of those reasons. First off, coursework is not as fun as an activity in the eyes of my kids, specifically following playtime. Recess and playtime at my school typically happens in the afternoon, and after doing my survey and just observing my class, I've noticed that the afternoon is a time when my class is not as focused. My students are 5 and 6 year olds, so it's understandable that it's going to be hard for them to be engaged the entire day. The students struggle to re-engage with coursework because honestly they're just overstimulated mentally and physically. So my procedure, in order to change a student's attitude, I think I need to follow these steps or something similar to these steps, and they would be as follows. So step one, I want to conduct a survey like the one I have made and find out what my students like, find out what they're confident with, find out what part of the day they prefer to learn, stuff like that. I can feel my students, and I can help build a schedule around that. So step two is kind of what I just said, kind of review the survey, see what students like, and basically just cater my day to their wants and needs. So step three is I would possibly review literature, like some of the articles I'm going to talk about later, and use my surveys and all of that information to help build a stronger schedule. After I make this new schedule, I want to just observe my classroom and see if I am noticing changes. Are they still complaining after recess? Are they re-engaging quicker? Is the overall attitude more positive? And just take notes and see if I'm noticing any positive change, and if not, I might have to go back and try a new schedule. And step 5, I would conduct a follow-up survey similar to the earlier survey and see if their attitudes are changing towards any part of the day, and hopefully see their attitude shifting to post-recess work. So my survey, the one I conducted earlier, and I would probably use with my kids, would look something like this. So all the questions can be answered with either I can or I do, whichever one is more applicable. Sort of as the middle answer, and I can't, I don't. And my questions are as follows. I can name all of the letters of the alphabet. I can count to 20. I like our morning reading centers. I can identify letter sounds. I can read books by myself. I can read all of our sight words. I like our afternoon math stations. I like learning after recess. And I'm more focused on either the morning, afternoon, both, or neither. And I like coming to school. I think those are 10 pretty simple questions, but with those questions I can find out what part of the day my students like, what my students like to learn, do they enjoy coming to school. I can get a good feel for my students with those 10 questions alone, and I think they're simple enough that they won't be confused and they can answer in a very simple manner as well. So there were a bunch of great articles regarding recess and schoolwork, and these are just some of the ones that really stuck with me. So in this first article, it almost addressed my issue spot on, and the article does a great job in suggesting activities for teachers to use to help with that post-recess transition. And some of those activities were mindful meditation, guided imagery, and technology time. The next article took a closer look at recess by itself and whether or not it is helpful for classroom production. And what it pointed out was recess may add value to the classroom production in moderate amounts, not too much. You don't want to give them too much. This article, just like the last one, focused on recess as its own entity. It also found that recess was beneficial to the classroom and development in our students. So while on paper it may make more sense to not have recess and focus more on classroom production, it is actually the opposite. You should give more recess in order to get more classroom production, at least through the findings of this article. This article, it presented key elements just that needed to be considered when trying to re-engage our students with schoolwork in general. And it focused more on secondary education, so it didn't exactly translate to my classroom, but the general principles did. And some of the elements I need to help my students tackle are making them want to take ownership of the work, want to learn, and building their self-confidence. That will ultimately help them re-engage with the coursework. This last article, it took a look at behavior in response to recess, and it also found that there was a positive correlation between behavior and the amount of recess given. So likewise, on the lack of recess has shown negative behavior in the classroom. So overall, what I found is recess has been proven to be beneficial to the classroom. And while embracing recess is necessary, so is creating a schedule that accommodates it. And that's ultimately my goal, is to figure out how to use this time to my benefit as best as I can. Also, I'm able to find out what my students like, as I mentioned before. Find out as much as I can about my students, what they like, what they're confident with, what they don't like, what part of the day they like, and then I can help use that information and really build an ideal schedule. Hopefully, doing everything I've mentioned in this presentation will help me develop an ideal schedule and see positive shifts in the classroom going forward. Here are the references I used. I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to thank you all for a great semester. I learned a lot from all of you, and I hope to have some of you in my classes in the future. Thanks again.